What is up? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be learning the varial heel flip. The varial heel flip is a combination of a frontside shove-it and a heel flip, and it was invented in 1988 by Rodney Mullen. I'd classify this trick as a beginner to intermediate level trick. You definitely want to have your heel flips down before you start trying varial heels, and you really want to have your frontside shove-its down as well. Now, neither of these tricks has to be perfect. As you can see, my varial heel flips are actually probably a little bit better than my frontside shove-its, but you should be able to do those tricks. It's going to be difficult to learn this trick if you can't. Now, the most important thing about any flip trick is going to be foot placement and weight distribution. So let's talk foot placement for varial heels. It's actually quite different than foot placement for a heel flip. I'm going to have my front foot hanging almost halfway off of the board. The edge of the board is just behind the ball of my left foot here. The back foot, as you can see, is going to be pointing towards the back of the skateboard a little bit more, a lot more like a frontside shove-it. So here's a heel flip setup, and here's a varial heel setup. You should be able to see the very distinct differences between the two setups. Notice the front foot is further, closer to the middle, further out, and the back foot is more in that pocket facing back. Now let's talk about how this trick works. What makes the board rotate the 180 degrees? It is actually the heel flip, the flick, that makes this trick rotate, not the front side shove-it. This is the most important thing that you can learn from this video. It's the most important thing to keep in mind when you're trying the varial heel flip. It is the flick with this part of the shoe, this part of the heel, that really drives the board's rotation. If you think of this trick as more of a frontside shove-it with a heel flip on top, it's going to be more difficult. So just keep that in mind. So you got your heel flips, you got your shove-its, you got your varial heel foot set up, and you now know the biggest secret to the varial heel flip, which is that the front foot drives the board's rotation. You're ready to start trying the trick. So now for weight distribution for this trick, you want to be really back over your heels and your butt. You really want to have most of your weight towards the back of your board, and you definitely want to keep weight off of your toes and off of the front side of your body. This is very much a trick where you want to be leaning back towards the heel side of your board. Keep that in mind. So you've got your back foot in this little pocket on the back heel side edge of the skateboard. You're going to push what feels like straight down. It is really not a pushing forward motion with the back foot. Really, the best way to describe how it feels is just as sort of a straight down pop, not a forward pushing scoop. Now you will notice that it does look a little bit like I'm pushing forward or scooping with my back foot, and that's really only because of how the foot is set up in that back pocket. If you push straight down, it's just going to push a little bit forward because of where your foot is. So I would really say that you want to think about this trick less like a shove-it and more like a heel flip. You want to push straight down with that back foot. It's going to go a little bit forward, but that's just in virtue of how your feet are set up. Once you've popped, it's time for your front foot to come in and do the work of slinging the board around the full 180 degrees. Notice here where my foot is actually flicking off of. It's not flicking off of the nose like a regular heel flip. Actually, it turns out that with a varial heel flip, your foot is actually flicking off the middle section of the skateboard. It doesn't quite get all the way up to the upturned part of the board where your nose starts. So you're really flicking off right here, close to where the wheels are. Your foot's really not actually getting up onto the nose for this trick. So you're going to pop straight down, and then you're going to flick that foot out, torquing the board around. You really want to think about trying to use your front foot to torque your skateboard around front side. And the combined heel flip and the little push that you sort of give with the flick of your front foot is what brings that board around. You really want to focus on the front foot for this trick. Now, before you actually start landing on top of your varial heels, it's probably a good idea to just start forming the trick. Try to get the flip and the rotation without landing on it, most likely it's going to go behind you. You're going to land in front of the board. When you're first learning, that's totally fine. That's how I learned it. You do eventually want to start trying to get at least one foot on there. Maybe your front foot first. Then once you get comfortable getting the front foot on, you can go ahead and try getting that back foot on as well. One tip is to imagine that you are sitting sort of in a chair. So you want to keep your body in a sitting position almost while you're in the air. You really want to sort of be back over your butt, like I said earlier. Imagine that you're jumping backwards into a recliner to sit in it when you do the varial heel flip. And that is what's going to help you to actually get back onto your board and not have it land behind you and you landing in front of it, is keeping your weight over your butt in the air, jumping straight up, almost like jumping back, as if you're jumping backwards to sit in a big, comfortable chair. So try to imagine that when you do this trick as well. Now I'm going to say some things that I say for pretty much every trick tip that I give, but the first is that the foot positioning and the tips that I give you may vary from skater to skater. So not everyone who does a varial heel flip, lots of people who do them way better than me even, has the same foot positioning for their varial heel flips. So you may want to experiment with slightly different foot placements, moving your feet an inch up, an inch down, half an inch here, half an inch there, and making these really minor adjustments can sometimes really help you to figure out a trick a lot faster. So do try that if my foot positioning isn't working out for you. Another thing I always say is that even if the commentary and the explanations that I give you don't end up helping you learn the trick, literally just studying these slow motion clips, paying really close attention to how I do the trick, how I hold my body, how I flick my foot, just doing that has a lot of potential to actually help you learn. So if all else fails, just pay really close attention to these slow motion clips. And that is pretty much going to cover it for the varial heel flip. Let's have a quick recap. The back foot's movement is more like a straight down pop than it is like a forward scoop. The front foot is the real secret to the varial heel flip. The front foot is going to be responsible for the flip and most of the rotation of the board. Use your front foot to drive the board around the full 180 degrees, and remember that the spot where you flick is a little bit lower than for a regular heel flip. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not. I upload every Wednesday evening. I'll see you guys on the channel next time. Till then, peace.